Dreamed I went to heaven, and you were there with me. We walked upon the streets of gold, beside the crystal sea. We heard the angels singing when someone called your name. You turned and saw this young man, and he was smiling as he came. And he said, "Friend, you may not know me now." And then he said, "But wait, you used to teach my Sunday school when I was only 8. And every week you would say a prayer before the class would start. And one day when you said that prayer, I asked Jesus in my heart. Thank you for giving to the Lord. I am a life that was changed. Thank you for giving to the Lord. I am so glad you gave. When another man stood before you and said, "Remember the time a missionary came to your church and his pictures made you cry. You didn't have much money, but you gave it anyway. Jesus took the gift you gave, and that's why I'm here today. Thank you for giving to the Lord. I am a life that was changed. Thank you for giving to the Lord. I am so glad you gave." One by one they came, far as the eyes could see, each life somehow touched by your generosity. Little things that you had done, sacrifices made, unnoticed on the earth, in heaven now proclaimed. And I know that up in heaven you're not supposed to cry, but I am almost sure there were tears in your eyes as Jesus took your hand and you stood before the Lord. He said, "My child, look around you, for great is your reward." Thank you for giving to the Lord. I am a life that was changed. Thank you for giving to the Lord. I am so glad you gave. Thank you for giving to the Lord. I am a life that was changed. Thank you for giving to the Lord. I am so glad you gave. I am so glad you gave.
Thanks so much to the church for making today about Joyce, Jeanette Marthers, Bishop Hayes. Joyce was born June 18, 1937, to Wesley and Sally Marthers. Not only is Joyce a great example of a Christian lady, she is our mother. It would be impossible for me to make this brief if I went into all the details about her life. So I am going to give you a little history, and then I'm going to point out some of her best qualities. Joyce met and married Stanley Bishop when she was very young. They worked hard and endured the hardships of building a life and a family together. As you can see, their love produced a long legacy. This is just a small snippet of our family, but they had 5 children, 12 grandchildren, 21 great-grandchildren, and were waiting on the very first great-great-grandchild. Together, they worked hard to provide and teach each of us to be good people. They especially taught us to take care of each other and to always love each other. Growing up, we attended a tiny Methodist church in our rural community. At the age of 50, our father passed away, causing a giant chasm in our family. After his death, my mother began attending First Church. This means she has been here for about 45 years. During her years as a member, she has served as a board member, a steward, assisted with many ladies' ministry projects, assisted with the youth, always participated in prayer chains, and helped serve meals to families in happy times and sad times. First Church is where Joyce met and married a certain West Virginian named Bob Hayes, a certain West Virginian named Robert Hayes. This took some getting used to for us. I am pretty sure it was the first time I had encountered a person born and raised in a holler. As you can imagine, we learned a few things we had never heard before. As a matter of fact, I still don't know what "gomming around" means. Their marriage brought with it 3 stepbrothers and eventually step-grands and step-great-grands. Both Bob and Joyce have done a great job of loving, helping, and being there for each other's children in all ways. We are thankful for Bob in many ways. He loves our mother and has done his best to provide for her and take care of her always. His focus has always been on making her happy, and what more could we want for our mother? In case you don't know much about the quiet, well-dressed lady that usually sits 5 pews from the front, here are some of the best things about Joyce. Joyce is a gift. Leviticus 19:3 says, God gives us mothers as a gift, and he commands that we revere them just as we are careful to obey all of God's commandments. Number 2, Joyce is strong. Proverbs 31:17, a godly woman does not dress in public in ways ungodly, suggestive, slovenly, or slipshod. Her outer adornment reflects her inner demeanor. She girds herself with strength and makes her arms strong. Number 3, Joyce is steadfast. 1 Corinthians 15:58. Therefore, my beloved brethren, be steadfast, immovable, always abounding in the work of the Lord, knowing that your labor is not in vain in the Lord. Number 4, Joyce is resilient. Matthew 24:13, but the one who endures to the end shall be saved. Number 5, Joyce is a friend. Proverbs 27:9, sweet friendships refresh the soul and awaken our hearts with joy, for good friends are like the anointing oil that yields the fragrant incense of God's presence. Number 6, Joyce is an example. 1 Corinthians 11:1, be imitators of me as I am Christ. Number 7, Joyce is faithful. 2 Corinthians 5-7, For we live by faith, not by sight. Without faith, it is impossible to please God. Anyone who comes to him must believe he exists and that he rewards those who earnestly seek him. And number 8, last but not least, Joyce's love. Corinthians 16:14. Do everything in love. These are just 8 reasons that Joyce deserves to be recognized today. She knows that she's loved, but maybe we don't always say it as often as we should. But she is appreciated, and she is a jewel in our life. She has made and lost many great friends in her 45 years at this church. Her support and love for the church and people are unending. I hope her quiet impression is always seen as the Christian light she really is.
I'm not going to say anything. Joanne did a great job.